Hey everyone, this is Renee from Tippy.com. Welcome to our weekly podcast focused on everything iPhone, from news and how-tos to app and accessory reviews. Joining me tonight are Seth Clifford, CIO of Nickelfish, and Georgia, our very own drow sorceress. It's September 21, 2011, and this is iPhone Live.
iPhone Live is brought to you by the Tippy iPhone Accessory Store, your one-stop shop for iPhone cases, cables, chargers, headsets, and much, much more. Visit store.tippy.com for all your iPhone accessory needs. See you there.
Wow, we did it. We survived These show launches are getting so interesting, guys. How's it going, Seth?
It's going great. I accidentally just hung up the Skype call and quickly called back in, hoping you wouldn't notice.
I didn't. I just thought that, you got incredibly good looking for a second, and then you were back.
Okay, great. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thanks. And you, George?
I'm doing actually really well. How are you doing, Renee?
This has been a heck of a week because just before we did iPad Live on Sunday, my Mac Pro decided not to boot anymore. I took it into the Apple Genie Eye at the Apple Store, and they diagnosed it with a blown processor board. So it took about 3 days to get that fixed and replaced. And today I went over, I reclaimed the Mac Pro that is mine. I walked back to my car, I put it inside, and I said, why is there a bunch of glass on my back seat? And then I looked down, and my laptop bag, my Tom Bin, was stolen, and with it my MacBook Pro and my iPad. And next to that, also gone, was my Canon DSLR camera and all my lenses. So I had a very good decluttering day, George. You'll be proud of me.
Well, that's not actually. I think you might not have understood how exactly I'd wanted you to do that, but.
Oh, pish posh. We can debate methodologies all day. The result is I have less stuff.
You do have less stuff, and but you have insurance.
I hope so.
Do you feel lighter?
Yes, it's like the weight of the world has been taken off my shoulders and then slammed back into me with Hulkine strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't even live in Jersey, Seth. What's up with that? I'm supposed to be in this safe little Canadia place.
But even in the safe little Canadia place, people love Apple products.
Listen, New Jersey's not all bad, okay? Yeah, there's places you wouldn't want to go, and unfortunately everybody flies into Newark, so that's what they think New Jersey looks like. But where I live, it's really quite
Hey, I've got cable.
Nice.
There's either mobsters or people doing gym tan laundries.
Yeah, and that's all we have. That's it.
Oh, well, I imagine being on a tour bus and driving past the mob, and then you see the gym tan laundry guys instead of farms and such, and then you get back to the city and there's more mobs.
Yeah.
Is there any actual iPhone stuff to talk about, or are we just gonna make Seth really angry all day?
No, it's fine. Let's go.
All right. Well, we did a Tippy TV,
we had the
Georgia.
Tippy TV.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I know. I had so much fun. This was absolutely exciting.
Hang on a second. Georgia, tell me about Tippy TV.
We went down to Comic-Con. I was so stoked. I was so excited to go, and so yeah, we saw a whole bunch of hot females and people dressed up for the Comic-Con. It was a lot of fun.
According to the commenters, you were way hotter than any of the females. I'm just going to put that on the record.
They lie.
Oh, okay. You paid them.
Yeah, no, they're just being nice.
Oh, they're trying not to hurt your feelings.
It's very sweet. Thank you.
So check out that video. We basically did a survey. We asked them what phone they used, an Android, an iPhone, a BlackBerry. And I don't want to give you any spoilers, but Kevin started screaming in childlike glee and quickly posted the video on Crackberry as well. No spoilers.
Of course not.
No spoilers.
What I was shocked at, though, is that a ton of people we asked, some are on the video and some aren't, but a ton of people had no cell phone. It's 2011. How can you have no cell phone?
That's shocking to me.
Yeah, the amount of people, again, like we talked about, price point, and the amount of people that were just happy to have
a ghetto flip.
Flip phones, or like what they call them, trash phones, or ghetto phones was amazing. Yeah.
I would say that maybe 20% of the people we asked had no phone. About half of them had a flip phone or a candy bar phone of undisclosed nomenclature. There was about, of the rest, there was about half Blackberries and mostly iPhones and a couple Androids.
Were these people gainfully employed?
They were dressed as Klingons.
Right. That's not really what I asked, though.
You don't think the Empire pays well?
No, I mean, certainly they do. That's why you get all those great benefits, like blowing up.
Kapla!
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't even know what phone that they use. So they would actually tell me their carrier when I asked them what phone they use, which was very interesting to me.
How can you be such a geek in one area, but no, like Sheldon, Dr. Sheldon Cooper is a well-rounded geek. He can tell you his comic book lore as well as his proper Apple technology. These people were one-dimensional geeks.
Well, again, it's our thing. It might not be, their thing.
Well, we're coming back next year, so you people have exactly 12 months to prepare yourselves, because we're not going to be so... We're going to make you get a phone next year. You're going to have to buy one on the spot.
Yeah, and we'll be asking again. They'll just know when we show up. They'll be like, oh.
Fine, an
this is the
iPhone, leave
phone.
me alone.
I'll show you your phone.
Zut tabernak, get away from me.
Yeah.
We also, Monday night, Seth, we recorded Iterate number 6, DAPBots.
We did indeed. And Mark Jardine joined us for a great conversation, and we covered some other cool stuff like Windows 8 and Metro, and also whether or not designers should also be developers.
Yeah, and we also found out that there is a secret app from the TapBots guys. It's not branded as TapBots, but there is a secret additional app that they did before they did the TapBots app. So if you listen to the show, you can find out what that is. And Seth actually had already been using it.
Yeah, I had used it in the past. I haven't used it in a while, but I remembered it immediately.
Yeah, awesome. And last but certainly not least, Georgia did something that is now immensely helpful to me today, a whole show on how us geeks can better use our technology to stop having such negative thoughts. It was a really crappy episode. I sucked in it a lot.
So yeah, I suck in every episode.
No, don't be so negative.
Yeah, it's a really important thing to deal with is, why we self-hate ourselves and why we, bully ourselves and say horrible stuff to ourselves that we would never say to anyone else.
But in my defense, have you met me?
I have. I've met you.
Okay.
And it's still not okay.
Oh.
It's again, it's better. It's like that ground and pound. At a certain stage, stop grounding and pounding. The person is not learning.
The ref is going to come and just jump in front. Leave yourself alone!
Yeah, you kick the horse 1,000 times. Dead is still dead. 1,001, there's no difference really.
All the camera will see is Big John McCarthy ass for a few seconds before he pulls my bully nature off of me.
Perhaps more pulp.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
All right, what do you got for news today, George? I'm ready for something non-us related.
But us stuff is even better.
Oh well.
We have iPhone 5 launch date.
We think.
Well,
we hear.
Again. Yeah.
Might be.
We're
Friend of a
gonna
friend, no
say it.
names.
We're going to call it out.
Okay.
Well, we don't
According to-
have a launch date, right? We have a launch event date.
Yes.
Launch event, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
not the day that the actual phone's coming out, but the day that they're going to say that there is a phone.
Right.
So it's the Breaker 19 or Breaker 19 not the deploy.
Right.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So, according to a report from All Things D, Apple will hold its media event to launch the iPhone 5 on,
When?
drumroll please, October 4th.
Woo! That's a Wednesday,
Which-
I believe, so that fits into their usual modus operandi.
Which means that if we, say a week later that the phone is launched, what date do you think that would be, Renee? May I say? Could I ask?
All right, so let's do the event first, and that gives me time to disassemble
Calculate.
the yeah. So this is a late event. I mean, I think most people assume that Apple would still do a September event because they've always done a September event and then have a later, an October iPhone 5 launch. But having the event, and kudos to All Things D. They said from the beginning it was going to be an October event. Good for you. Great. Noted Wall Street Journal backed site. All Things D nailed it. Why is the event so late?
I will. Can I go out on a I think that it's because they wanted to have everything else on the table. They wanted to have cloud being ready to go. They wanted to have make sure that the phone was working. They're not going to go through any white gate, antenna gate, anything else. And Tim Cook's under the helm, so he wants it to be smooth.
Smooth. Seth, do you concur or do you retort?
No, I agree with that stuff. I think that they had a lot more on their plate to get ready this time. It wasn't just the firmware; it was all these other hooks that have to go into it. And this is probably unarguably the biggest release for iOS that we've seen to date. So I'm sure this was just a matter of get everything ironed out because they don't want anything to flop.
You mean they don't want a repeat of 2008 where they tried to launch the App Store, Mobile Me, iOS 2, and the iPhone 3G all at the same time, and the servers, they did come crumbling down?
I'm pretty sure they'd like to avoid that, yeah.
Apparently that's not good for customer relations.
Now, they don't like it when they can't do things.
So, what do we expect at this event?
And plus, someone else had already stated in the chat room, and I apologize, but also if Tim Cook is giving the speech and doing a lot more work, and if, if Steve is not going to be at the helm, I'm sure that he wants to make sure that while he's up there on stage, there's no, please everyone turn off your laptops. We don't have the wireless.
Yeah, turn off your MiFis.
Yes.
Now, but the thing about this that's so strange is we still don't really know for certain what's going on. We've seen tons of leaks about a quote-unquote iPhone 4S, which would be the current iPhone 4, maybe thinner, probably with an A5 processor, probably with an 8-megapixel camera. Apparently that's already underway. It's being manufactured. It's just waiting for final firmware. But iPhone 5, we know nothing about. It has gotten to the point where a lot of sources are saying that there is no iPhone 5 this year, which I cannot believe. I believe there has to be an iPhone 5, and Apple has actually succeeded in keeping this incredibly quiet.
Yeah, I say iPhone 5. Renee?
Yeah, I just said that, man.
No, but do you say that it will be an iPhone 5?
I believe there is. I think Apple has just kept it incredibly quiet.
And yes, I say specifically yes, iPhone 5 on T-Mobile. Seth?
It's got to be a 5. It's been too long. I don't think they can cause the splash that they're probably needing at this point. Let's be honest, they don't really need a splash, but I don't think they would have waited this long to release a 4S. I think there may be a 4S because we keep hearing that, but and I hate to even call it a 4S. It sounds so stupid, but like a successor to the 4 that's not the 5.
For GS?
For GS.
Yeah. So whatever. Yeah. But
Epic.
There's got to be a 5. The wait has been interminable.
But what if, we heard rumors that the manufacturing has been very difficult, that they're going to have a very low quantity available, that there will be shortages at launch. I mean, there's always these rumors. We heard the exact same rumors when the iPad 2 was coming out and nothing happened. iPad 2 launched. Yes, they had constraint, but it wasn't unusual constraint. Are these just rumors that we hear every time a new Apple device is coming? There's got to be like a certain set, they're almost like someone has a checklist of rumors to put out. Oh, case leaks this week, supply shortages next week, delay the week after.
Yeah, isn't there a bingo card with all that stuff on it somewhere?
I think Steve Jobs has it in Hackles.
Yeah. iPhone launch bingo, the centerpiece, the free piece is just the phone, and then around it you've got all that stuff. And what are some of the other ones? Let's see.
Product Red.
The Nano is another one. iPhone Nano is another square.
I don't know. So
may I ask, now that it is so close to happening?
Yes.
Seth, do you think that Steve Jobs will make an appearance?
I don't know what I think. I know what I want. I want him to just come out and give a wave, but I still stick by my former comment that Tim will and should run the show. I'm just hoping Steve comes out and says goodbye, basically,
But does Tim have to run the show? I mean, Steve Jobs ran the show because he was one of the best people in the world to give keynotes. That may not be Tim Cook's strong suit. He might be the guy that gets everything done, but lets the Phil Schillers and Johnny Ives and Scott Forstall run the event.
No, I would agree with that. I don't think he has to run the whole show, but I think he's the guy who comes out first and brings everybody else on. I don't think he He might be, but I don't. He doesn't seem to be
Reality
that guy.
distorty.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be that guy. I think he's probably gonna do what they have been doing, at least in the beginning, I think, because people are now used to that format of everybody kind of coming out and talking about their division and their stuff.
Hi, I'm Tim, and I'm going to talk to you about our fantastic iOS sales numbers. And now over to you, Phil. Is that about it?
Yeah, sounds about right.
And
He's
so, Renee, Steve's showing up. Our chances?
I'd love Steve to show up. I'd love him to do one of those things like he did for the iPad 2 event where he came out and he said, look, I'm here. I've been really looking forward to this, so why not? But I think at the same time, it is that break that you keep speaking about. It is the beginning of Act 3, and he's going to want to let... Well, Tim Cook deserves to take the stage for this. It's the new Apple. He should be allowed to fly.
And I will say that, barring health reasons, or if he looks exceptionally ill, he'll make an appearance. He'll say his goodbye properly and hand over the helm. And I think that that means a lot to people that have followed not only Apple, but Steve. Having him, getting to watch the torch being passed is exceptionally important for people. And to be able to see that will make a big difference that he's comfortable. And if he's comfortable and happy to have Tim Cook hold the reins, then we'll feel comfortable and happy, and it will be a big deal to Apple users. So unless he's very, very ill and looks unhealthy and he thinks that it would be bad for Apple, or that he thinks that it will bring back up, negative thoughts and memories to that, I say that he'll come up and at least make an appearance and, say goodbye.
I don't think Tim Cook needs that. I think Tim Cook has shown that he can do it on his own. I mean, everything, the stock price again is hitting new record highs. The company's getting launched. I think even if Steve is healthy, he might just choose to sit home and let the kids have some fun.
I disagree. I think that would actually be a very poor strategy move for them if he's healthy and be able to do it. I think that it's important for people to see that.
Tiebreaker, Seth.
I can't. Don't. I hate it when mommy and daddy fight. Don't make me do this.
It is your fault.
I don't know. I'd love to see him. I really hope he's walking himself out there.
If you had to make the choice, what do you think would be better for Apple?
I don't know. It's tough. Better for Apple. You could argue it either way. Better for Apple, a point of closure. He comes out just for a wave at the end, and there's a lot of good feeling. Better for Apple, he's completely passed everything along to Tim, and it's Tim's thing to run. Like you can see it both ways. I really honestly don't know.
You know what could happen? He could come running out at the last minute, hit Tim Cook with the championship belt, and set up the main event for WWDC next year.
Or they could just drop a giant cage down on the whole keynote and just go at it.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Jim Dalrymple from The Loop, who has excellent Apple sources, summed up his thoughts on the post with yup. So it looks like this is a very solid date. I like that yup, sent from the beard.
I like that.
So, Georgia, you asked a very fair question. If Apple has the event on October 4th, when do we get our hands on the Goram iPhone 5? And by summing it up, I therefore get to switch it over to you.
That's rotten.
I know. Strategy.
Yeah. I would say 7 to 10 days within the launch date.
Well, if it's October 14th, and that's the date that we first heard that Apple was going to launch it. Tippy originally heard that October 14th was the date, and then they were going to move it up to October 7th because things were going well. So it's quite possible that they've gone back to that October 14th day, and that'd be 10 days right afterwards.
Which would put who closest for the running for all of our bets?
The loudest person in the room. Whether or not they want to identify themselves as such.
I like the 14th. I'm looking at the calendar right now. That makes sense.
I hate it because Seth and I will be at the Singleton conference in Montreal.
I totally forgot. Yeah, and I hate the 14th.
On Friday night. So we could be getting ready to hear Gruber and Hockenberry and everyone else talk. and everyone else will be lined up at the Apple store going, ha ha.
Can I buy an iPhone in Canada and bring it back, or is that just not something
You
I
can
could
buy it
even attempt?
unlocked.
Mm.
If we get it the same, Georgia, will we get the iPhone the same time as as the wonderful Americans?
No, we won't.
Because last year we had to wait a month.
Yeah, and I say that we'll have to wait probably also a month again.
So November. So Seth will be here. Not only will Seth be here on iPhone launch day, he won't be anywhere
He'll
where he can
have
buy
the phone. He'll
Well,
already
that's-
have the phone, and he'll be here. He'll flaunt it
Last-
and traumatize
last
me
year-
probably.
Last year I was in Hawaii on my honeymoon, and Amy was like, "Are you gonna walk down the street to the Apple store and go buy the phone?" And I was like,
Or are you
"No,
going to stay married?
no." Yeah, I was like, "No, I'll get it. I'll get it when we go back." But as soon as we went shopping, I was like a Pavlovian response as we walked by.
iPhone, iPhone, iPhone.
It was
And did
tough.
you buy it?
No, I didn't, because I was afraid that we were there for 2 weeks. That was like the third day we were there. I figured, like, you know what? We'll be hiking and I'll shatter it like an idiot. I'm not going to get it. And I waited.
Steve wants to know if it'll be available unlocked on release day. In Canada, it has always been available. Since it has been unlocked in Canada, it has always been available unlocked on the release day. And that's usually the fastest way to get it because you don't have to deal with carrier people. You just buy it from Apple and go. But it's, fracking expensive. $650 for 16 gigs last year and $750 for 32 gigs.
Yeah. Will you buy it unlocked again, Renee?
Oh, sure. We have 3-year contracts. It takes so long to have an upgrade that they basically give me like $50 or $100 off anyway. And at that little difference, it makes no sense to buy a locked phone.
I'm torn about that. I'm on the fence.
You have to see what they offer you,
I'm not
right?
sure.
If they don't give you a good discount, does it matter?
Yeah, and they probably will, though, because I have no contract at all. So to lock me in, they would love that.
You could be a target.
Yeah, and if it's like $300,
Once
I
we
would
destroy Georgia
definitely-
Ran, the other systems will all fall into line.
yeah.
I don't know,
And I
Seth-
don't change carriers. We don't have like tons of choice here, and I don't usually change carriers, so
Oh, can I complain about the carriers as a quick aside?
please.
They upgraded my iPhone value pack, which has my visual voicemail and my text messages, to give me international text messages. And then my friend started calling and hanging up on me. And it turns out that they put this feature on called Ringbacks. So like my parents or my friends would
Oh,
call,
that's so
and
horrific.
it would say something like, "Don't hang up," blah blah blah, bam 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 bam, and no one knew what it was because this is not normal behavior for a phone. So they were hanging up and they thought that I disconnected the line or something. So I call Rogers and I say, "What have you done?" And they go, "Are you calling about Ringbacks?" I'm like, "Yes." They go, "You're not the only one." So I go through 2 levels of customer service and they can't do anything about it. They say, "We are physically not allowed to remove it from your phone. We're going to transfer you to iPhone tech support." So they answer, "Is this about the Ringbacks?" "Yes! If you know this, why?" They go, "Well, we want you to have to go to the website to change it so you learn about all the valuable services and things you can do for yourself on the website." So it turns out, in order to remove Ringbacks, I had to text the word "no," like a Vader Star Wars ruined experience, "no," to this
Did
text
you really
number.
have to text a whole bunch of no's?
I had to text the word "no" to this number, and that sends you back a link. You click on that link, and nothing happened, and it gave me an error because I would dared to be on Wi-Fi. So I turned off Wi-Fi, clicked the link again, and it brought me to this little page where I could turn off Ringbacks, and I could turn off the notification to tell people not to hang up because they were about to hear a ringback.
Now, okay, I've called you.
Yes.
You didn't block your number for me, and I've heard the ringbacks. Now, what is a ringback?
I didn't know. I asked them, and they said this was exactly what I just said. If you're a Lennon fan and if you're a Beatles fan and your friends know that you're a Beatles fan, you can let your friends enjoy the Beatles while they're waiting for you to answer your phone, and then you can buy, of course, a bunch of other music from us if you want to, for ringbacks.
So that means that when people are waiting, I call you, and it would be playing
Bow bow
Imagine.
bow 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 bow.
or any other song that you so choose.
Baby Got Back. It could be anything.
Okay.
So
Okay, fair enough. I guess they did the thing. It's annoying, but you learnt about it.
Well, the guy first tried to dissuade me from turning it off. He said, you can customize it if you like. And I said, dude, I want to kill it just to watch it die. And he laughed and said, yeah, I get that a lot.
Okay.
All right, sorry, I apologize. Back to iPhone 5 goodness. That was a
No,
brief
it's
rant.
important to talk about all the stupid things carriers do. That's okay.
Yes.
Do you think that it was effective, Renee?
It was effective in getting me to call the carrier so they could try to upsell me on a bunch of other stuff. It's sort of like someone coming and cementing your wallet is effective in getting you to call 911.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I mean, I was annoyed to hear them talk about the ringbacks. Like whenever I would call it, that was annoying to me. But the thought to have a song that I get to listen to during the time that I'm waiting for you to answer your phone was actually, it's a kind of a nice thing.
But you see, for me, it evokes the negative connotations of being on hold for customer support issues, which is always like interminable. And so now I have to
The
call
elevated
Seth, and I get
expense.
hold music when I'm calling Seth. I mean, no, and it's music that Seth picks. So let's say that for some reason Megadeth killed one of my parents, and
So
Seth
it would be
doesn't know this.
it'll be Nickelback.
Yeah, or Seth calls and I'm playing Nickelback. Seth just won't. He will hang up every time. I'll never get to talk to
Georgia.
Seth again.
Georgia, never bring Nickelback into this again. Ever.
Rogers, not Georgia, did it, Seth.
It would probably be the Daft Punk Tron soundtrack.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be so bad, right?
Well, but it depends. Like someone could have an incredible Daft Punk version. And
Yeah.
they're now calling you and hanging up. Like my father tried to call me. He's like, I was so confused. I thought you changed your number. All I kept getting was this recorded message.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I'd like a
Yeah,
recorded
interesting.
message that says
Sure.
iPhone 5 is shipping on October 14th. That'd be a good recorded message, though. How about we get that message?
Well, what about T-Mobile? The
Yeah.
executives tell everyone they are not getting the iPhone 5 this year.
Well, yeah, so this is the chief marketing officer. Now, Tippy heard previously, and not just Tippy, because once we had the story up, like T-Mobile News, I think, a bunch of other sites heard very similar stories that T-Mobile was all set to get the iPhone 5, and now he's saying, we are not going to get the iPhone 5 this year. T-Mobile's owned by
Now,
Germans.
even if they're not getting the iPhone 5, why would they say that?
It was on a corporate training slide trying to tell their it was like a town hall meeting for the company trying to set expectations so that when people come to the store they're not all waiting for an iPhone 5. They go ahead and they buy their Sprint Epic 4G Galaxy S2 Limited Plus Series 7 something for live whatever essentials. But here's my question, Georgia. Did T-Mobile plan to get an iPhone 5 and something changed? Were they never getting an iPhone, or are they just not getting an iPhone 5, but they're getting maybe the budget iPhone or the new generation iPhone 4?
Yeah, I'm really not sure. That they have decided to actually go out and say it kind of means that that there's something to it all. Now, would he go out and say something if he directly knew, that they were getting it? No, I don't think so. So it kind of puts me thinking, I'm not really sure. But that they decided to actually talk about it, I don't know.
Ask Seth, he knows.
Seth, what do you think?
Well, first of all, let me just go on record and say that this longer wait for the new iPhone just means that ultimately I become that much more tired of speculation, and I'm actually getting to the point where I'm going to be emotionally damaged by it at this point. But you could look at this and you could parse it and say we are not going to get the iPhone 5. Okay, well they're not going to get the 5, so they're going to get something because they didn't say we're not going to get the iPhone or an iPhone. But if you really want to do that and you're not even a T-Mobile customer, then I wish you all the luck in the world, because if you're not even a T-Mobile customer, why would you care?
You basically just were very Oliver Stone and told me to follow the money, weren't you, Seth?
Yes.
Follow the money! Who's paying
Always.
T-Mobile?
Always follow the money.
All right. Well, we're sticking with that. We heard they're getting something, so we'll see. They're just so changeable. That's all I got for you, George.
Right.
There's someone waiting on the iPhone 5, though. You want to know who?
Yeah, Renee, tell me who.
It's not Seth. It's not you.
Nah.
I am waiting on the iPhone 5,
No,
but
not as badly as these people are. The entire country of Samsung, the entire nation, the entire whatever planet Samsung is on, all the peoples of Samsung are waiting for the iPhone 5. And I quote, just after the arrival of iPhone 5 here, Samsung plans to take Apple to court here for violations of Samsung's wireless technology related patents. For as long as Apple does not drop mobile telecommunications functions, it will be impossible for it to sell its i-branded products without using our patents. We will stick to the strong stance against Apple during the lingering legal fight. So it's like they're sitting there with their finger on the DEFCON 5 football button, just waiting for Apple to drop a phone so they can sue.
I mean, this type of patent litigation it's just going way too far. Why hasn't the states done something about it? Can't they do something about this?
Well, what do you want him to do? Say, now you two, now you have to share. He gets the car for 30 minutes and you get the doll, and then after that you have to swap.
I don't know what the patent law is in Korea, but it's just, I don't know. When it starts to get in the way of me getting my tech, I'm getting a little bit upset about it.
Well, let's play devil's advocate here, and I'll give this to Seth. Let's say Samsung has been innovating for years. They've come out with remarkable new products that have changed the industry and led to a preponderance of copycat products. And all these people are me tooing them, and it's made it difficult for them to extract the value that they have earned through invention and engineering and insight. Should they not have some form of legal redress to stop the copyist Apple? The telecommunications patent violator Apple from using their technology?
Yeah, well, when you say it like that, it sounds perfectly logical and wonderful. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, yeah, they should, because if you try to picture this not as Apple but as any other company, I don't think it would even be as hot an issue. If it was just like, if it was two car companies, I seriously doubt we'd even be talking about it. But because it's Apple and because the news cycle just craves Apple stuff, and because the iPhone is, and Apple products are hot, it's like a focus that has become so magnified that nobody can even really follow it at any rational level anymore. And you've got Samsung fanboys, Android fanboys, other people.
Is there a Samsung fanboy?
Oh, come on. There's got to be, right?
They were all at Comic-Con.
I could never find an HP fanboy. Maybe there are Samsung fanboys, though.
But it's just, I guess, what are we going to get? Like, Apple's not going to use Samsung parts anymore as a result of this? I know they've been using Samsung parts, like, flash memory and things like that in devices. Are they going to look at all of this back and forth and just say, not worth it, we'll just source from somebody else? Or are they just going to keep doing it? Because that's got to be a lot of money for Samsung, so you would think they still wanted that revenue.
Well, here's the exact quote. Apple is Samsung's biggest customer. Hewlett-Packard, Nokia, and Sony were Samsung's previous big clients. However, Apple is now a primary one. From our perspective, we are not entirely happy about the litigations. Samsung CEO Choi Ji-sung.
Yeah.
Who is not a Jedi.
It's got to be uncomfortable for Samsung, because half the company is probably getting their guns out and the other half is like, guys, don't forget we get a lot of money from them.
But it's kind of like, Seth, I don't think George will appreciate this, but Seth will. If I spend a lot of time and money getting the perfect prom dress and I look great, accessorized, I have everything in place, and I go to the damn prom, and sitting there is this chick named Samsung wearing the exact same dress, and I can tell she cobbled it together a few seconds after seeing mine, I'll be mad, and I might say a harsh word or, launch a beverage or two in her direction. But then if she comes out and tries to accuse me of stealing her watch or something, I mean, it's on, right?
There's a big difference, though, between someone that is using a patent and one of these NPs, these non-practicing entities, the patent trolls, that are just doing it to try to make a quick buck.
You're calling Samsung a
Can't we
patent
kind
troll?
of say that? Can't we, draw a line in between the two? Anyone can, if you're just writing a patent just to cause me stress and I'm actually using it, there should be a difference between that.
We had that a
And
couple
they
of
say
shows
it's
ago.
the amount of money that is cost is $500 billion. I'm not saying truckloads, but that's a few trucks there.
I like what Jerry Hildebrand from our sibling site Android Central said. He goes, at some point, Some rich guys with a lot of money will give a little bit of money to some other rich guys with a lot of money, and it'll all be settled.
Yeah. There you go.
They're just moving
In
the
the end,
piles of
it's
money
the
around.
lawyers that make the most out of it.
It really wants to make me become a patent lawyer so I can buy a fancy car and rebuy my MacBook and my iPad.
I love when Jerry distills things down to their essence like that.
Hillbilly law, man. That stuff is tight. Uh, Georgia, you asked a very pertinent question this week. You asked,
Yes.
much will people actually use iMessage? And I have noticed, anecdotally, that since we got iMessage, my writers who used to use email or conferencing software will now just iMessage me at the drop of a hat.
You notice a difference, is what you're saying.
Yes, it has now become much. I can now get harassed much faster and more efficiently thanks to iMessage.
So, will you use iMessages much more often? Are you going to get rid of texting?
Well, I don't think I'll get rid of texting because not everyone, I know this is appalling, but not everyone that I know is using an iOS device. But the way that Apple did it, Georgia, are you ready? Are you waiting for it? Seamlessly integrating it into the Messages app, it just, like, I don't even have to think about it, except I mean, that might be a plus or minus. Maybe it's easy to use. Maybe I'll get bills when I don't notice it's not working. But I just iMessage, and sometimes with Liana, like, it'll be blue, and then I'll iMessage Ali, it'll be blue, then I'll iMessage Kevin, and it'll be green because he's on one of those BlackBerry devices, I guess. And I don't even have to worry about it. It just picks the free version if it's there, and the paid version if it's not.
And did you notice, Seth, that right after iMessages, they even talked about iMessages, all of the carriers, or almost all the carriers, had like unlimited texting plans put into place?
Yeah, that's been kind of a thing lately. I've been seeing that a lot more and more on TV and whatnot. Uh, it they've been absolutely ransacking people in terms of cost for text messages for a decade. I mean, a text message, everybody's seen those figures where a text message uses, this many bytes, and if you actually extrapolated that and charged the amount of text messages for what you pay for your data plan, it's like $1 million or something ridiculous. The text messages themselves just ride like the underside of the network that doesn't even really affect anything else, and it's been like a huge profit point for so long. So obviously, I hope they do freak out. I hope they. I know what you're thinking, Renee, and I'm not going to say it.
Say it.
Yes,
it.
I want them to die.
They deserve that one to burn in hell.
It's such a racket. I hope they are freaking out because it's about time that a platform like this, and BBM is like it too, but this is I don't know. It feels like it's more somehow because it's
BBM
it's
is not integrated. Like, BBM is like lives separately from text, and this is integrated into text.
No, this is smooth. This is really smooth, and I like that there's a visual distinction between the actual free messages and the text messages, and frankly, I just like seeing the blue bubbles. It's nice.
I read this article a long time ago. I think Matt Miller sent it to me. It was an article about the history of Nokia, and they were saying that text messaging was the most profitable legal profession ever created, legal profit-making enterprise ever designed by man. I mean, if you take drugs and prostitution and everything off the table, text messaging is the best way to get rich.
Like,
Legal, Georgia, legal.
I think prostitution kind of takes the cake. Well, it depends where you live, right?
Yes, probably not in Nokia land. Hey, but you know what? If text messages makes more money than prostitution, bless them and their networks. They figured it out. They unlocked the holy grail. People will rather chat than, pay for services.
That's impressive, and
Sad.
Scared? Should I be scared? I don't know.
You got how many? You got how many? 93 comments. So people can check out that thread and see what a lot of people said. But I think it boils down to, it'll be more useful the more people in your friends and family circles use iOS, and I'm sure that Apple is not upset about that at one bit.
I still have enough people on other platforms. I'm not going to get rid of texting, and I'm sure Amy has a million friends that still have Blackberries, so it would just, trying to get her to do something different would be an exercise in futility, so I'm keeping the texting.
Yeah, and also what's interesting, though, is that iMessage also works on iPod Touch and on iPads. You'll get a whole bunch of people that you can, quote-unquote, text with iMessage that you could never reach before.
That
Well,
I
I
like
think
a
that the
lot.
Sorry, go ahead, Seth.
No, that was it. I was just interrupting you briefly without realizing it. I'm sorry.
No, 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 that's okay. I think that the carriers are smart, though, to put out the unlimited messages because, like, I have unlimited texting internationally, from my point in place, and I'm not going to change out of that. Like, I'm not going to get rid of it. So once you kind of buy into that, there's much less of a chance that you're going to downgrade. People are, once in motion, we stay in motion, and once we're comfortable, we often don't cut back. So there's a much smaller case of us, like once you get used to iMessage and you don't use text as much, if you have everyone that's on an iPhone, you don't have to worry about it. There's much less of a chance that you're going to upgrade to unlimited because
Wait a
it's
minute.
not as necessary.
You just called humanity lazy and complacent, and I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Nice. Nice. What else? You did some other damage today. What else did you... Oh, this was a notice to developers, people who are developing on iOS 5, because no one besides developers ever runs iOS 5 betas. They're going to be resetting the iCloud on September 22nd, so all your data has been theirs. You'll have to start fresh.
So what happens when they do that, Renee?
It's gone. Like if you had backups there, those backups will be gone. If you had iWork documents, if you had iTunes Match stuff, I mean, anything that you have put on anything that you've even paid for the privilege of beta testing for Apple will be gone, and you will have to not sync, can't call it sync, you will have to push it back to the cloud so you can store it back down again.
So, Seth, is this a huge heartache for developers?
No, because developers know it's a beta and they shouldn't have put anything of real value there. The only people who are going to be bent out of shape are people who aren't developers who are running a beta and don't realize it. Sorry.
And yes,
No,
they
like
deserve to help. No.
Yeah, you pretty much said, Seth, that, live by the sword, die by the sword. If you
Yeah,
weren't
exactly.
paying attention and you think that everything's still going to be there, because there will be people, no matter how many times Apple tells them, that are going to be completely upset and taken aback and shocked by this. And they'll be calling Apple.
They'll be upset. They'll say,
Or us.
Apple sucks.
Sometimes they call us. I don't work for Apple. I
Google
don't run
had
the cloud.
betas for years, and Gmail was beta for 12 years, and they never reset anything. I used that beta, and Google was fine. Why is Apple such a jerk?
Listen, I'm going to be abrasive here, so I'll apologize in advance. The people who would complain about this are the same idiots who are leaving reviews on apps that aren't running under iOS 5 yet. Period.
Yes. You tell him, Seth.
I certainly will, sir.
How dare you give 1 star to Facebook just because it crashed under iOS? No, wait a minute. That crashed under iOS 4 as well. All right,
yeah.
sorry. You can leave a bad review for that. It's like, I don't know if a quick aside, I don't know if you saw that the Star Wars Blu-rays have like 8 gazillion 2-star reviews.
Yeah, I did see that, and
Right.
that's probably for good reason.
I'm going to leave a 1-star review and say, meh, should have been free.
And then buy the T-shirt. There is a difference, though, in, like, you talk about Google, Renee,
Yes.
but between Apple has a lot of people that are not tech savvy, but then they think they're tech savvy because they're able to use an iPad. I won't really comment on that in itself.
I'm right here.
So they're gonna, not know that they shouldn't have done this or what the repercussions will be. And again, I think that, people also trust in Apple in a different level, and they expect stuff to work and work effortlessly. And because the fact that they have a different population, a large, group of people that use Apple products do, they're gonna, they didn't know, they didn't read the articles, they don't, head on down and get themselves most informed. And they'll be shocked when everything's suddenly gone.
Good. Maybe I'll get them to not install Beta 6. Or, sorry, iOS 6.
Yeah, you know what? I file that under not my problem.
Learned them. Apple's going to learn them. That's it. But I bought my slots for $10 off some sites on the interwebs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually do email us, though.
Yeah, that's all right. I send them to Allie. Are we going to get to my favorite story of the week, Georgia?
Okay, is this the Netflix story, Renee?
Oh, you said that without cursing. Oh, good on you. I call it the How to Destroy a Magnificent Brand in 3 Easy Steps. But yeah, you can call it Netflix if you want.
Right. We spoke a lot about this before it happened.
Oh, but they made it worse.
And they, how did they make it worse, Renee?
So, like, just to backpedal for a second, Netflix originally was in the U.S. It was a service that if Seth wanted a couple movies, he could pay him a little bit of money, and they'd send those movies as discs to his house, and he could watch them and return them at his leisure in these bright red envelopes. And then they decided for free to start providing streaming video. And then after a while, they said, "Oh, shiznit! This video costs money. We have to break these into two. We'll have discs in one plan and video in another plan. And sure, it'll be more expensive, but if you don't want to use this anymore, it'll be cheaper." Which is an option a lot of people took, by the way. But they did it in sort of, and we discussed this before. They did it in a way that seemed disrespectful to the customers. Like their corporate communications was severely lacking. So now, in order to rectify it, they have decided to take lack of corporate communications to a new level. They have announced that they are not changing prices, but that they communicated it poorly. So in an effort to make things more simple and more clear, they're splitting Netflix into two companies. The Netflix you knew and love as a DVD service is now a streaming-only service. The DVD portion is now called Quickster. And I believe you have to say it like that. And it's a separate company. It's going to have a separate website, a separate login, a separate rating system, sign up for separate plans. And I forget which online comic did it, but they made an analogy that it's like one day you go to McDonald's and you have to buy your bun in one building, and then for double the price you have to go next door and buy the hamburger. It just seems to make no sense to anybody. And I am not sure what they're thinking or if they're thinking.
So it's kind of like they're, treading water, kind of sinking, and then they decide, like, I might as well tie myself to the anvil and throw it into the water with me.
I might as well get drunk and blast shotgun holes in the bottom of the boat.
Let's try to make it as difficult as possible for people to give me their money.
Seth, are you still a Netflix user?
Yeah, love it.
Are you going to become a Quickster user?
Nope.
So they've just lost half their business.
No, because
Did you use that service though beforehand?
All right, so I'll give you a little bit of backstory. I've been a Netflix subscriber since 2003. I got a trial membership as a gift and fell in love with it when it was only DVDs. Voraciously used the service for years and years and years. As soon as streaming started to get pretty good, and I know everybody's complaint is like, there's nothing on streaming. Well, I like weird movies. I like zombie flicks, and I like martial arts stuff, and I like anime, and all that stuff is there. So I'm great with streaming. I watched a single DVD disc sit on our TV table console thing for over a year when I finally decided I'm canceling the plan. And that's when they said, oh, we're splitting it up and you can do one or the other. And I was like, perfect, love it. So I'm on the $7.99 streaming plan. I watch it all the time on the iPad. I watch it on our TV, has a Netflix thing. I love it. I can't get enough of the stuff. And frankly, they want the discs to go away. They realize streaming is the future. Like, they don't care that it's a terrible name and people are really mad because they're taking chances that other companies aren't taking. And they realize probably it's going to be a tough road, but they're still doing it.
So how badly did that guy screw up who became the new president of the soon-to-be-destroyed DVD business to get that job?
Well, yeah, and the problems that they have with this is that there's no name brand recognition, which people spend, billions of dollars trying to get, and Netflix has with, I was going to say Quickie Mart, with Quickster. So they've lost that. Then there's those that are not already choosing to stream are probably not the most technologically advanced people. And so how do these people, learn about it, get signed up, and already go through the entire registration process with, even sometimes we have problems with people just signing in to, say, like a forum. So to have to go through the entire rigmarole of, signing up when they could probably just still go to Blockbuster, which, will have all of the DVDs there because no one goes there anymore. So that on top of it. And it's just, make it as easy as possible for people. It just seems like a lot of rigmarole for nothing.
Did you just basically say that the Quickster's logo should be, "Thank you, don't come again"?
Exactly.
Like Apu giving you the finger?
No poo, yes.
Yeah.
"Thank you, don't come again. No more discs for you."
Yeah, he must have, the person that's running it must have pissed someone off at Netflix.
What else you got for me?
Instagram 2.0 brings live filters, live tilt shift, and 4 new different filters. Leanna has brought this to us, and they look really nice, actually.
Can I just say that Leela Lofty is a gorgeous little baby?
Yeah,
Yes, she
she
is.
is.
Look at those eyes.
She's been classing up the Tippy homepage for a while now, and it's much appreciated.
And Leanna says that this is her favorite iPhone app available on the iPhone. So it's a photography app. So
Lila, sorry.
the filters are great. You should take a peek at it. And it's Leanna's already in the chat room right now. Is it easy to use, Leanna?
So she's yelling at me for calling Lila Leela. I apologize, Leanna.
Okay, I don't know if she said yes to this or not, but let's say it. She says yes. It's easy to use, too.
I'm surprised you don't use it, Georgia, because you are a big photo. Like, you take photos of everything, and it seems to me that you'd be kind of... Well, but you're anti-social networks, so yeah, maybe that makes sense.
I'm anti-social networks, so I don't need that, but I do like to, every once in a while, like, change up the pictures if it's something that I care about. I have about
8 gazillion unupdated photos.
Yeah, 1,800 photos on my iPhone, so it's quite a few.
I like to point out that I complimented Leanna's daughter, and instead of liking the compliment, she got angry at my pronunciation of the name. So leave that in the podcast.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yep.
When she grows up and listens to this podcast.
Oh yeah, the baby's gonna kill me.
Leanna doesn't know. She's like, what? Oh.
I'm defending
Someone
Lila
actually
Lofty's
beated
honor.
me. Someone beat me in the chat room. Harley has more. He has 4,000 pictures on his phone. Wow. We have to put that down as A to be asks. How many pictures do you have on your phone?
That's a good actually. Yeah. Yes. Ali also let us know that MyWi has been updated for iOS 5 as well as Byte SMS. So does that make it more appealing to you, Georgia? You hold out if you can get iOS 5 and jailbreak it and put on your Byte SMS?
Yeah, you know what? I think no matter what, Renee, when the iPhone 5 comes out, no matter what, I'm definitely going to be jailbreaking, I believe. And yes, that it's going to be available for it, yeah, is totally cool. So that's good.
And MyWi, you can try your luck with AT&T because they're still contacting people. Leanna is doing a ton of giveaways. We launched a new photography forum. If you go to the Tippy forums, you can find not only our new business and enterprise forum, but our new video and photography forum. And she is giving away first. I say first because she has more giveaways coming this week, including some accessories. But right now, iMovie for iPhone and iPad, you can win a copy of your own for free. And she gave away like 15 copies of the iWork apps last week. She has gone berserk with the giveaways.
We've been giving away a lot of different things. Like, we've been going giveaway crazy.
Yep. Good. Our readers deserve it. Our listeners deserve it. They're fantastic people.
And again, there is a very quick and easy place that you can find out all about our contests. So there's like one-stop shopping, contests.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry and go through all the pages. You can just go to www.tippy.com/contests.
And enter them all.
Why not?
Nice. All right, excellent. Georgia, where can we find out more about you?
You can find me on Twitter at GeorgiaTIPB, and you can also find me on the blog, www.tippy.com.
And
thank you. Come again.
And Seth Clifford, Esquire?
Seth Clifford on Twitter. You can find me on the Tippy shows, on Iterate with Renee and Mark Edwards of Bajango. And if you want to check out our work and the apps we build, visit nfidm.com. We're Nickelfish.
Damn it.
Damn it.
You can reach me at Renee Ritchie. You can reach all of us at Tippy, T-I-P-B. You can email us at podcast@tippy.com or leave a comment when the show goes live on the blog. We're here every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. British Summer Time. And our companion show, Georgia?
iPad Live, Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Same bat time?
Same bat channel.
Nice. For all our podcasts, including iPhone and iPad Live, Zen and Tech, Super Functional, Iterate, Crackberry.com, Android Central, and more, see mobilenations.com/shows. If you haven't already, please head on over to iTunes expeditiously and subscribe to the show and leave a rating. It helps iTunes feature us, which means more people can find the show, and we can give more stuff away to more of you, because we love that. I want to thank the Tippy iPhone accessory store for sponsoring the podcast. I want to thank Georgia and Seth for gracing us with their basically unmatchable presences, and I want to thank everyone who showed up for the live chat. You are the best thing about this show each and every week, and we love you.
We do. Much hearts. Less than 3. Less than 3.
Nice. Hashtag less than 3.
I'm glad you stopped doing the air hashtag. That didn't really catch on.
I tried. I might try again.
This thing?
Hashtag Nickelback don't.